Chad, this is 5 to 7 minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, with his speech, Challenging Oneself. Challenging Oneself. Please give a warm welcome for JP.
I want to start off with a question, and I want you guys just to raise your hand. Can you remember the last time you set like a huge goal for yourself and you failed? Okay, so just about all of us, right?
But we all have.
The reason why I decided to start off like this is because 2 weeks ago, I failed to achieve my big goal. And this story goes back to last year in June, where I just graduated high school up here at Long Beach High School. And I was thinking, yeah, life's great, but I really wanted to challenge myself going out of high school. And I thought, what better way to challenge yourself than set up a big goal and just go for it. So I thought to myself, what goal, what can I possibly challenge myself? What can I really get myself going? And I thought this might be weird for you guys, but I thought, why not learn Japanese? And if you know a bit about me, I'm half Japanese. My mom was born and raised in Japan. Half my family is Japanese, but they don't speak English that much, and I don't really speak Japanese.
Do you speak Japanese?
A little bit. And I thought to myself, why not learn Japanese and go over there and try to use it and speak to your family that you've never ever spoken to in your life. So just setting a goal for myself, I set it's like a hike. You got to plan, you got to prepare, you got to execute your mission. So my plan was I learned Japanese for about 5.5 months over at Irvine Valley College. And I would go to Japan over my winter vacation, and I would try to learn, or I'd try to use as much Japanese as I know. And so I prepared basically by taking classes. I'd study Japanese every day, and it was kind of intense because it's a completely different language. And in came December, and I went to Japan, and to be honest with you, this is where I failed, and I couldn't really communicate properly, and I felt like I let myself down. I had a hard time, talking to my family members. I had a hard time, going to the shop, asking the price, and they would understand what I'm saying, but they would have a hard time. I'd have a hard time listening to what they'd say back to me, and I became really dejected, and I was down. But after 1 week, I learned a lot, and I learned that realization hit. I'm not going to master Japanese in a matter of 5 months. That's just not realistic. But what I did learn were communication skills, and that's the primary purpose of this speech. I learned that you need to be confident, and you need to be prepared to fail. Because every conversation I had in Japan that was Japanese, I failed. No one understood what I was saying. I was saying something, and I'd get these weird looks. And I think the fear to fail is also, for me, it's a big thing because I'm kind of a shy guy, and kind of doing something like this, it's really kind of just out of my circle. So to learning to fail, I think is the most important part, especially when you're speaking, because regardless of whether it's Japanese or not, when you say something that's wrong and you say it with confidence, it's all right. So if I screw up a Japanese word and I say it in the context, but I'm really confident about it, and I say it with conviction, most likely what I found out, people understand what I'm saying. But if I say it right and I don't really have any confidence about what I'm saying, no conviction, they'll still get confused even though I said it right. So a lot of it's all about delivery, and it's not just, as I said, it's not just Japanese. It's just when you speak, just in general, it's all about delivery of confidence. Because if you're not confident in what you're saying, then how do you expect people to believe you? And failure, yeah, well, that was a big thing. Confidence, yeah. But I think, although I said it was a failure, for me it was a success, because I had a decent conversation with my grandma, my 2 cousins, my uncle, my aunt, and they don't speak English. So even though it was a small conversation like, oh, what's your job, or, you know, what kind of music do you like, it was kind of like the first time in my life I've ever talked to like that side of my family. And for me, this was kind of like just a mind-blowing thing, because like I just like never ever like, you know, thought about in my life that, you know, this side of my family actually exists. And so by doing that, by kind of like, as you're on that hike, even though I got bruised up and I was injured, what I did learn was that it's not about if you get from point A to point B, it's about how you got to point A to point B. And I just want to close it off and say that I really enjoyed my time. I had a lot of sake. Got a bit
Yes.
And yeah, I just hope that when I ask the question, do you guys, like, if you ever failed at tackling a goal, I just hope that you can take that failure and like learn from it, because I learned a lot from my failures, and I think that Japanese was actually a benefit, because it helped me learn not just more Japanese, but I learned more of how to communicate with confidence, and also kind of to communicate with fear without failure. Thank you.